See what Jeffrey has to say here. Can you explain why option spreads spike in value overnight when the markets close and then go back down when the markets open? Jeffrey, do you know what ticker you're talking about in particular? It could just be a thing where your brokerage is reading it wrong. I've seen that before plenty of times, where it just gets a wonky bid ask price at the close. But hey, Raleigh, hey Nate, how you guys doing?
We're doing great. You're looking super, my man. I understand it's your birthday, and I want to be one of the first group of 100
Yeah.
to say happy birthday to you. Nate, always good to see you, my friend.
Happy birthday to
Nice,
you.
nice,
Does
nice.
anyone want to
Happy
join me in the
birthday,
chat?
Mr.
Oh,
President.
look, it was Lance's or Lance. It was Lisa's birthday yesterday. It's Lance's birthday today too,
Lots of
which is
birthday
funny.
action.
Are
Funny we
Lancey
both.
Polito's birthday as well?
Yeah, we share a birthday, different
Oh
years, but
my
same day.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, listen, guys, you got a lot to cover today. I'm going to fade into the background. I'll keep an eye on the chat, and I'll come back and join you during Q&A.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off with just a quick weekly wrap up. Nate, do you want to start? Or would you like-
Uh, sure. That's my very unprepared chore as I'm trying
I'm
to
gonna
take
go.
down
I'm
some
gonna
notes
go
here.
off the cuff real quick here. Then
Um,
let me just close all these up. Actually, so you can't see all the paid trades.
I didn't
Nate.
even, dude, I didn't even send a final starting now in
Oh
my
man.
Telegram. I'm a disaster today. All right.
Let me go ahead and make this bigger for you guys because I know Zoom kind
Opening
of squeezes it small.
open.
On the clock, stocks on fire. Nate, this was that volatility trade we did yesterday.
Yeah, I was asked. Someone asked a question about the volatility spike, and I wasn't sure if they were talking about VIX or they were talking about like options contracts getting wonky at the end of the day. Who was that question from?
Jeffrey, I
Was it Jeffrey?
believe. Let me open that chat again.
Jeffrey, sometimes the bid and ask get pretty crazy at the end of the day. Like I had an XLU trade that's about to close for a full profit today. And at like, 355 yesterday, it was like a normal, up 22% or whatever I'm going to make on it. And then the market closed and it showed like down 100% and like, you know, flipped from like up 800 bucks to down 3 grand or something just because like the option chain got wonky. So, especially when you're trading spreads, you do have to get in the habit a little bit. If they're super high volume, like the SPY, normally it's going to be pretty reasonable. But you kind of have to get in the habit of actually looking at the chart and seeing where you're at relative to the market itself versus the P&L open because it can get a little crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wow, we got a lot of chats. So something cool here just to show you guys real quick. Just a little application. So yesterday, who was here yesterday? Give me a yes if you were here yesterday. Give me a no if you missed the options training class we had yesterday. Mostly yeses. That's good. If you missed it, Nate, if you can pull that YouTube link, just post in the chat, catch the replay. Here's a cool little application of that. So on Tuesday, I do my market overview, market analysis, and give you guys a few trades. NVIDIA was one of our picks from Tuesday, and we did an elite spread on it, right? We did a little slightly out of the money spread where we're going for that bigger payout on a slightly larger move. So let's look at NVIDIA here real quick. So we entered it on Tuesday, I believe. It was probably here, I think, actually. What day is that? That was Tuesday. Okay, cool. Tuesday. Entered it on Tuesday. So it was at 125, and we made a bet that it was going to go higher about, I think 8% was when we took the trade. So an 8% move. That's a pretty big move for the week in NVIDIA, but we said, let's go for it. And let's take a look at NVIDIA now. You can see it's well above our top strike is 133. So if we close above 133 and it's at 135.71 now, we'll get a max profit. So here you can see it's not quite to the max profit yet, but up 172%. So it should close out about 200% today if NVIDIA stays above that 133 price point, which let's take a look at NVIDIA. So as long as it's above where my crosshairs are here today, if you guys took that trade with me on Tuesday, you should get about 200% return on investment. Mike said he closed his NVIDIA yesterday, made 450 profit on 350 invested. Nice job, Mike. So that's a cool just to show you guys the application of what we talked about yesterday, getting those bigger, juicier returns. We're not going to win all the time. We'll be okay if we win even half the time. That's okay with us. But when we get these big hits, like obviously Microsoft was a huge one, but this NVIDIA one's a really good practical example of what we're talking about. I think Bitcoin actually expires today as well. And let's take a look at
Bitcoin's
IBIT
going to
here.
expire for a full profit. What you're about 130? Yeah, okay, that's about what I am too on those.
122 on Bitcoin there. So So again, as long as Bitcoin closes above, look at this, guys. See my crosshairs where that crosshair is today. So as long as it doesn't get like the worst sell-off it's had, one of the worst ones all year, today we should get a little over 100% profit. So kudos to everyone who took those trades with us. I hope you're having fun. Hope you're making money. Not every trade wins. Like I got some losers here. We've all seen that. One thing, Nate, I was reviewing my trades yesterday, and it's hilarious. It's not that funny, but I do a really good job, Nate, with my premium portfolios, the ones that we have the paying members for, of making sure that I track my position sizing accordingly. Here with the opening playbook, I feel like I just off the hip, just I'll do 3, I'll do 2, I'll do.
I do the
3 or
same
4.
thing. I do the same
And so
thing.
I'm looking over here like, wow, I've got a couple $1,000 positions, couple 400, couple 70, So it's funny.
Yeah.
What about this one, guys? Did anyone take the Oklo trade?
Man, I didn't take Oklo. Wow, I wish I did.
Let me go ahead and move this
What a beast
down
on
just to
Oklo.
show you guys. If you guys were here Thursday and took I didn't take the Kava one. What is Kava doing today, Nate? Do you know?
Well, let me check because it's one of my big holdings. We'll see what she's doing.
Let's take a look at this one. The more speculative Oklo trade is up 92%
Oh,
overnight.
Kava's down 4% today. Yeah. Might be time to scoop back into that one.
So it's probably not within. We did a 92 strike, I believe, on the elite option. So it did not make the market maker move, didn't even make half of it. But Oklo here, if you guys took the June one, it's up 30% overnight. Let me close that. 30% overnight. If you guys took the weekly option, look at that. Oklo, 102% overnight. So that was, again, application from what we talked about yesterday. So I hope you guys, yes, Kava is losing David. I hope you guys are coming to these classes. I hope you're making money. Hope you're enjoying it. East Road, what about your monthly trade on PGR expires today? It's a loser. I don't even remember what that one was. East Road.
Is that me? Is that me or Graham? We both trade PGR a lot. Well, speaking of income trades, I'm gonna give you guys two boring income machine style trades because then we're going to shift. We're going to talk a lot more about how to get more of these juicy 300%, 168, 100, which, I think, and you guys can let us know in the chat. I think when the market is moving the way it is right now, it's really attractive to go for those, big triple digit gains. I think there's more opportunity right now probably than we've seen since like the 2020 recovery, quite frankly, for those like big outsized returns. So we're going to talk a lot more about that. Graham gave the training yesterday, which I think is one of the best trainings for how to do that without paying, the typical IV and all the stuff that kind of goes along with that. But today, we are going to start you off, or I'm going to start you off with two more boring trades. So we're going to start off with XLC. I'll share my screen here. XLC is what folks might call overextended out there, but as you guys know, I don't believe in overextended. I like the idea of going with momentum. And here we have XLC. Let me just zoom it up a little bit. This is on the daily chart. You can see there's a lot of green bars stacking up there on XLC. A little pause today, but we did break through this 100 level, which I think is an important level for communications. And it's the number one ranked on our income machine. So if you look here, let me just pull it up real quick. You can see income machine ranks this as a 4 out of 5. We've got short-term trend. We've got long-term trend. We've got weekly momentum, and we've got price stabilization, which is an ATR metric to see if price is becoming more stable, which makes it better for income trades. For all those reasons, I like XLC. And here is the trade. If you go over to the option chain, we're going to give this one about 2.5 weeks here, going out to June 3rd. Let me actually get on XLC so we can look at the right options. Here we go. Oh, sorry, June 6th. I said June 3rd, June 6th here. And we're going to go over to verticals. We're going to take this right now. We're at 101.52. We want to get below price here. So we're going to take the 100, 101. Should be able to get that into that for about 70 cents, folks, which leaves quite a bit of meat left on the bone, like around 40%. Now, a little bit of a wider spread, but I think we can get it filled right around 70 cents there. Let me go ahead and type that one in the chat. It is the buy to open, June 6th. XLC $100 call. It is the sell to open June 6th. XLC 101 call, and you can pay about 70 cents. And these guys, the idea here on Income Machine is actually to let these expire. So you guys know usually I would use a limit order, but the whole point of the Income Machine is actually to find high probability trades likely to finish on the other side of our kind of line in the sand, as I would call it. And so I'm taking a little bit of a page out of Graham's book on the elite trades and other ones and trying to go for the full value of the spread. That's what the Income Machine is designed to do. And so there's your trade on XLC 100, 101, pay about 70. That gives you around like a 40% ROI. So that's the first trade. Let me see if I can just grab 10 of them here. See if I can get filled for about 70 cents. Nope, didn't actually update. Hold on.
June 6th expiration, you said?
Yep, that's June 6th. See if I can grab a few. Spread's pretty wide, but normally these still fill without too much trouble near the bottom of that mid. So I'll go for 70 cents and give that a minute. While that's cooking in the oven, let's go to Walmart, which is my other trade. Yes, this is a vertical debit spread. Walmart, I'm going to give a little less time. I'm going to go to the May 30 here on Walmart. Walmart's at 98. Again, we want to stay below it. I'm going to actually see if I can go down to like 97. Let me get a little fancy here with a 92, 97. Ooh, I like it. We can get over 20% on 97. All right. 92, 97. So what I'm doing is I'm widening the spread here. One of the ways, I mentioned this in our overnight option class recently, one of the ways you can get a little extra value if you're planning on letting it expire above that line anyway, is just widen your spread out a little bit. In this case, I'm creating a $5 spread on Walmart, and that I can get into that for about $4, which leaves a 25% ROI for Walmart just to stay better than 1%, better than negative 1% over the next 14 days. So let me go ahead and send that one in there. We're going to buy to open May 30, Walmart, $92 call. Guys, you can do this as a $1 spread if you want. I just like the $5, give me a little extra value. And by the way, it helps with commissions. I've been doing wider spreads a little bit more often just to lighten my commission load a little bit because, less contracts on the wider spreads. If I'm planning on letting them expire anyway, why not, widen that spread out, get a little more value for it, and pay less commission. So this one you can pay about $4. ROI on that is 25%. And guys, these are really where the Income Machine is going to try to get you in good position to take a trade where the stock can go against you up to 1%, up to 2% on a high value, high quality stock and still make 20, 30% ROI in a couple weeks. Those are the kind of trades that I'm really looking for. So I'm going to do a couple contracts here. You can do this for about $4. Send that off. That one filled instantly at 403. By the way, you guys can take the 96, 97. Same trade idea, just a little bit narrower spread that reduces it. No, that spread, that's actually a really good price to still have 25% left on the value when we're completely under the price, over 1% below price already. $4 is a really good price for that because you're getting over 25% ROI while still needing the stock to do nothing. In fact, if the stock falls 1%, you win. Now, if Stacy, if you were trading the 92, 97 and price was at 94, so it was in between, then you would look to expect like a $2.50 value because then you're kind of like in a wider wrap order, as what Graham would call. You're kind of in between price, and you would expect to pay about half the value of the spread. We're not doing that here. We're actually getting fully below the value of the current stock. Folks, these are meant to let to expire. So you have your line in the sand. Whatever call you're selling on a vertical debit, that's where you need price to finish. So we need price to finish above $97 on Walmart. We need price to finish above 101. But like if you look at some of my other Income Machine plays here, let me zoom in on these. Here they are. You can see some of these. So like Coin, I have an Income Machine. I also have our two-way trade on Coin. This one, I need Coin to finish above 225. I'm $25 clear of where Coin needs to finish on this one over the next 2 weeks. Okay. Palantir's another one. I'm several dollars clear of where Palantir needs to finish. XLU, Income Machine. Anyone trade XLU with me? Income Machine printed out a whole bunch of XLU. So I have what do I have? I have about 4 grand in XLU income machine plays just because it kept printing out XLU as a good opportunity. And you can see some of these are like 6% below, like $74. It's like 6% below where price is right now. So very, very safe with 1 day. XLP, same kind of thing, 2% clear. So what I'm trying to show you folks is that the idea here is to get into what I would call protected positions, where you have cushion and room to let the market go against you, and you're not getting 2% for that. You're getting 20%, 25, 30% for that, and that's really where the income machine is designed, to print some winning trades. So those are two, more boring trades. 20, 25% value left. Graham's going to give you by the end of the talk today more of a map for going for triple digit winners, which, like I said, the market's in pretty good shape for that right now.
And actually, I want to do one of those now. First off, I know you were just talking about coin. Did you know they got hacked yesterday?
Yeah, there was they dropped like 8% yesterday.
Yeah, I knew they were down here. I'm like, what the heck? I thought it was just fade on the news, but they ended up getting hacked. But look at
Well,
it
they're
back today.
actually currently, as we speak, they're above our two-way option level right now
That's awesome.
because it was 240 and 260, so we're literally already above the top level.
In the perfect Bitcoin program, I've got a very speculative trade on where I'm trying to get coin at 290. What was my expiration? Without giving it away completely, which I'm about to do. So 290 on May 30. And it was a massive opportunity. I don't want to be specific, but 300, 400%, I believe. So if coin is right there, which is a big jump, but big risk to reward there. I mean, big reward over risk, in my opinion. So here's one that it's funny. On Monday, I said I probably wouldn't trade it, but I'm changing my mind today.
Boy, how a week changes things, huh?
And it's not because I'm super bullish on the stock, but I do think, check this out, guys. Every time, so just look, don't look at the chart, right? It's a sideways choppy chart, right? Not our pretty normal pretty chart, but every time we get these extended Newton spikes to the downside and then some retracement, let's go ahead and look up here. Over the next couple weeks, what happens? Goes higher. All right, let's go look. This isn't overextended. Let's go look at another overextended downside retracement over the next few weeks. That wasn't as good, but here's another one. Extended downside retracement next few weeks. We get another one here, right here, very extended. When we get that -4 rating for Lily, pops higher. So we're down here again right now where we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these over the last year or so. It looks like about 4. Well, we've only had 4 in the past, but it looks like all 4 would have worked out. With one, maybe this one might not have worked out, although I have a feeling it would have if you give it enough time. So I'm going to look at Lily right now and try and play it right here to about the 50-day moving average, which would be
You're gonna do an elite trade on this one?
The what?
You're gonna do the elite trade on this one?
Yep, I'm going to go for a bigger gain here. So again, risk to reward, we're going for that bigger return. We know we're going to accept a lower win rate. That said, actually, I'll give you guys a wrap order in an elite trade just so you guys can trade it how you desire, how you wish, how you prefer. But again, this isn't my normal trading style where I'm looking for a stock breaking out or a stock trending higher. This is just a simple reversion to the mean in a stock that's stuck in a sideways channel that every time it gets overextended to the downside, it typically reverts back to at least a 50-day moving average. We've seen it there. We saw it go way above it here. Again, here and here to the 50-day moving average. This one went above. So I'm just going to bet we're going back to 800. Let's call it. It's 802, 801. We'll call it 800. So I'm going to go ahead and check some. I'm going to give it about 2 weeks. Let me just make sure no earnings that's in the past. Yeah. Might even give it a third week. Let me go ahead and check 3 weeks out, see what it looks like. Again, this is on the fly, so I don't know if the options will be any good. The wrap order right now looks pretty good. Looks really good, actually. So I'll type up the wrap order first. I'm going to go to the 6th of June. 25 expiration. I'm going to buy the 750 call. And I'll show you something cool here in a second, too. Sell the 755 call. It's a net debit of 243 right now, which means we'll make over 100% return on investment if we are right. Susan, what are the numbers at the bottom of the screen? If you're referring to here, oops, If you're referring to here, this is my Newton momentum reading. It basically tells us a percentage split of two separate EMAs. Right now, they're very extended, separated to the downside. Versus here would be it's breaking out higher, breaking out higher. This is breaking out lower. And then now we see it's kind of capped and popped back 2 days. So we're just playing a bounce back here on Lily, giving it plenty of time. You can see here where my crosshairs are. So if Lily is above, see my crosshairs right there? That trade I just gave you, if it's above my crosshairs by that date, so even if it goes sideways for the next 3 weeks at this overextended level, you're going to make over 100% return on investment. Let me give you the exact dollar amount. So say you get filled at 243, it's a $5 max potential, 105% return on investment. If Eli Lilly, which I believe right now is overextended to the downside, is above this crosshair right there. Does everyone see that? Bridget, how did I get the indicator Newton lower on Thinkorswim? It's an indicator I built, and the Newton members have it. Bridget, if you're a Newton member, you should be able to get it on your lower portion of the screen. I recommend going to one of our customer service live classes, which are every day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. They're live in a Zoom room just like this, and they can walk you through how to do that. But here's that first trade, the wrap order. This is less aggressive. But look, less aggressive doesn't mean we're getting weak returns. We're going for a double here, a little over a double. Did everyone get that trade? It's bumped up now. Let me go ahead and put mine out here. So this will be about 100% return filled right away. Now, let's say that we get the normal retracement back to the 50-day moving average over the next 3 weeks. So now we're looking at crosshairs right about there. So we're just betting that Lily's just going to snap back, not aggressively, not crazy, but just a very normal snapback like we've seen here. We saw it here, snap back. We saw it here, snap back. Here, we didn't quite see it all the way. So this one might have been a loser, but 3 out of the 4 times definitely were winners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide out to that 800 strike. That's a lot of strikes there. So let's go find the 800 strike. That's what our goal is. We're going to give it 3 weeks to get there. And let's just see what the pricing looks like. And it's a negative spread, so they're going to pay us to take it. I'm just joking. All right, so wide, super wide, no volume there. Let's see what happens if we go to the monthlies. Might give us a little bit more time, but we should have better volume. 280, perfect. This is perfect. This is going to give us a little more time, about a month, but we have to do it because the options liquidity. Unless, Nate, you see something better.
You're on June 20 right now. Yeah, that's what I do. I went ahead and did a income trade on LLI too, so we're slicing this up every possible way right now.
All right, so here's what I got right now. 293. I'll post both again, but here, did I post? Yeah, I did. Okay. Here comes the elite spread. Now, what this is going to do, if you're unsure, let me walk you through. It's 293 debit right now. You're paying money up front. You're not going naked here, not selling, not risking exercise at the moment. So we're betting that Lily's going to snap back to its 50-day moving average, which is at 800 over the next month. Plenty of time, in my opinion. It's trading at 278. The max profit is the difference of the spread. So $10. $10 is the most we can sell it for. We paid 283. Take out our starting cost. So now we're making a bet that Lily will get back to its 200-day moving average over the 50-day moving average over the next month. If we're wrong, we lose 100%. We're wrong, we put $100 in, we lose $100. If we're right, though, we make 253%. So if we're right, we put in $100 where we're going to walk away with 353 in our account. Obviously, you can't put $100 in because it's a $2 spread, but I hope you guys get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 of these, punch it off. Look, Thinkorswim does it for us. Max loss, I put 2 contracts. That's 556. That's what I'm willing to lose. Max profit. Pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome max profit for a pretty reasonable move. Again, I just showed you over the last year, 3 of the 4 times it's definitely happened. 1 of the times somewhere in between, but 3 of the 4 times it's definitely happened. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll let it sit there. But that's your free elite trade of the day. We'll see how it works out. We'll monitor from there.
Can I throw one more in here? I mean, you can keep sharing the screen, but just take a look at it. Well, let me first ask a question. Bitcoin been pretty hot right now. We're going on.
Are you taking the screen?
No, I mean you could take it if you want and just keep showing, but I can do it too. It doesn't matter. Basically, what I'm looking at here is bada bing. Bitcoin here. Let me just move this over so you can see the whole chart. At 104, in my mind, Bitcoin has a pretty darn high likelihood of cracking all-time highs. We've got the squeeze here. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green bars in a row. A little bit of a pause up here in this 104, 105 range, where, I would expect a little bit of slowdown. But I think when Bitcoin typically gets rolling, when it typically squeezes, like I said, no such thing as overextended in most cases. I think we could see it rip. Obviously, this was a shallower channel, but when it got, when it broke, it ripped. Previous here, broke and ripped. Previous here. I mean, even here, that doesn't look like much. It made new highs. So I like the chances of Bitcoin going to all-time highs. Anyone in the chat also like the chances of Bitcoin going to all-time highs?
Yeah.
And I'm talking like short term, like in the next, let's say, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
A lot of all yeses.
Okay. Again, high risk trade, obviously, but I think when Bitcoin gets ripping, it's a freight train, unlike most other assets, and so it's a good one for these kind of trades, in my opinion. Why? Because if you're wrong, you lose the value of a spread. You're not tying your portfolio to Bitcoin. You're basically putting a risk-defined spread on that. If you lose, you lose. You lose $200, you lose $400, whatever you're going to do. But if you hit it, it has the potential to really rip. So the way that I would trade this is also similar, kind of, an elite trade, a jump trade, something out of the money on IBIT, and just target this $62 level. 61.75 is the high. Go super aggressive here and target $62. And let's look at what that spread can offer here on IBIT. So again, let's go super aggressive. Look at it in 2 weeks from now, May 30th, and go all the way up to 62. You can get into this for about 29 cents. So that's over 200% ROI. You're gonna have 71 cents on the other side of that. What's that? 250%, 240% ROI to trade this up. Again, super aggressive trade. We're basically saying we want it to beat all-time highs in the next 14 days. So let's get aggressive here and do one more. This would be the buy to open May 30 IBIT 61 call. This will be the sell to open May 30 IBIT $62 call, and you'd pay 29 cents for this. All right, so ROI, let me just give you a real number instead of doing mental math and getting it within the ballpark. 71, divide that by 29, and there's your potential ROI, 244%. So ROI potential, because if we're wrong, we're going to lose, is 245%. Okay, so that's the trade. If you want to go super aggressive with me on IBIT, also very cheap, literally costs $29 a contract to get into that one. So let me throw on a couple of those, and we'll round out the free trading session here with a pretty aggressive one there on IBIT. 29 cents. You could trade, contract for $30, less than $30, 10, 30, whatever you think. Now, obviously, we're being super aggressive here, guys. I feel like it's important always when Graham and I are throwing, hey, I'll take 3 of these, 5 of these. At least for me, I can speak for myself. This is in my active small trading account where I'm throwing $500, $1,000. I'm not hitching my portfolio to any of these couple of trades. They're risk defined, kind of outsized potential. But I'm also only risking my money because I like them. So, that's the reality of these trades. They're not, make or break trades, but they are ones that I have, high confidence in, and I'm throwing, a little chunk of my active trading account, if that makes sense.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah, still love T-Mobile too. I think someone else mentioned that one. One of the reasons I like XLC right now is I think T-Mobile, Google, some of those are really solid contenders right now. Man, coin ripping 263.
I know. Yep. You know who's killing me right now? And I have no explanation. Meta. I've got a wrap order on that one open expiring today, and it was up like 80% yesterday.
What is it, 635 or 640?
637.50.
Mm. You still got a decent chance.
Yeah, I mean, it was up above it at the open.
Yeah, that's less than 1% for the day.
Like, come
So
on. Just an eye
any
roller.
anyone jump in anything this morning on off my Telegram post? I mentioned Tesla, Amazon, and Coinbase in there. Well, Palantir as well. All those stocks that kind of got beat up yesterday. If anyone took anything at the open on that post, you're looking pretty good right now. Just curious. That's why the Telegram sometimes is the best thing to pay attention to, just because it can react real fast. I like Amazon, by the way. I think
Me too.
yesterday, kind of little aggressive fade. Might try to fill this gap. Might have a little more downside pressure, but I still like it in the medium term as well. So just so many good opportunities right now. I'm fully risk on. I'll be wrong one of these weeks. We'll get a big flush, and I'll get punched in the face one of these weeks. But what I want to do is take advantage for the 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is up until then, versus sitting on the sideline and then saying, "Oh yeah, look, we got the flush. See, good thing I avoided it." Like, no, I want to try to make a whole bunch of triple digit trades, and then I'll take a hit one week and still be much further net ahead. I always tell the story about my buddy Sean. He's been saying, hey, we need the flush since like COVID drop. Like, hey, we never got the other shoe to drop. This market's going to be, this market's going to correct. And then he'll text me when the market drops 2% and be like, see, I told you. I'm like, Sean, we're up 180% since the COVID when you started saying this. Like, do you really think that your decision has paid off here? But that's kind of one of the pillars that I try. Like, be aggressive when the market's aggressive. Know you're going to take a slap on the wrist one of these times, but believe that you'll still be net ahead if you take advantage of the run before that happens. And I think that's true of every rally over the decades. And so for right now, I'm on risk on mode.
Yeah, me too. You guys saw I'll show it to you next Tuesday. Every Tuesday I do that map, kind of map where I think the market's going. Definitely risk on. I think all-time highs are coming in June. Here's a fun little chart I saw, and it's not necessarily, I don't necessarily agree with this 100%, but since Warren Buffett's retiring, let's give him some honor and credit here. The average trader, the average person like you and me, hold stocks for 11 months. So we like a stock, hold it for 11 months, and dump it for another stock, which can be good. I do that. That's like me. This is probably exactly my average hold time too. This is the NYSE reported this. But we do know that the average investor might match the market, maybe underperform, maybe slightly beat it. Warren Buffett has smashed the market over his 60 whatever years of investing. And Warren Buffett, this was just a funny stat I saw, owned his top 5 stock holdings for an average of 19 years. So 20 times longer than you and I typically hold stocks. Now, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. It was just a fun little stat I came across the other day, or actually yesterday. I'm like, wow, 19 years. That's real commitment to a
I
stock.
haven't even had a trading account for 19 years.
Me either. I've barely been alive for 19 years. I'm just joking. So that's your fun fact here for Warren Buffett. Since he is retiring, I don't know if I will ever hold a stock for 19 years outside of the SPY and QQQ. I do think that we do have like good opportunities, Nate, and you can step in, but like there's stocks like Progressive where I'm trying to just buy and hold forever.
Yeah.
Like if I hold it for 19 years, I think I will have succeeded in life.
Yeah.
But other stocks like Kava, for example, we traded Kava all the way up. I don't love Kava right now. I'm not going to hold it for 19 years. Oklo is another example. I've got my whole retirement account in Oklo, which could end up being disastrous, but we'll see. So far, so good. But that's not a stock I'm going to hold forever. I might hold that one for 6 months. So, anyways, that's why I say like I don't necessarily completely agree with this, but it was just very eye-opening to see 19 years.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
He owns many companies outright. Yeah, he does. So actually, a fun fact for you guys while we're on the Warren Buffett topic, he owns Geico, the insurance company, and that's been one of his top performing companies that he's owned for years. Insurance companies, I always go in my spiel, average about 14% a year over the last 30 years. Think about that. The S&P, depending where you look, 9%, 10%. Insurance companies average about 14% a year over the last 30 years. So over time, that makes the biggest gap in the world, outrunning the SPY. So that's why I really like Progressive. It's kind of like the closest thing I can get to Geico, which I can't get Geico because Berkshire Hathaway owns it.
Uh, and and is the reason that they perform that much better, is it because the average over time their troughs are just a lot shallower, and so when you net it over time, like their peak years aren't racing past the other stocks, right?
I don't know. Look at Progressive over the last 3 years; it's doubled. I know a
Yeah,
lot of tech stocks.
yeah,
It's
but
not a
like
tech
Walmart
stock.
and some other ones have doubled too in that run.
Yeah, it's a steady Eddie. I honestly think, and this is a whole nother rabbit trail. I think that they have good enough statistics and numbers that they pretty much have very good odds of making money all the time, no matter what,
Yeah,
because they've
yeah,
got it all cooked up in the books in mathematics, statistics, and that's benefit number one is that insurance. It's very, very good to have insurance. I'm not saying don't have insurance. Individually, something bad happens, you need it. But on a mass scale, they're the ones making the money. Obviously, they wouldn't be in a business where they know they're going to lose money. They go in knowing that they're going to make the money, which is good for owners of the stock. Secondarily, a little fun note too is that they don't wait until the end of the year to get the premiums. They get the premiums at the beginning of the year, which means they
right.
have the full year to make
Yeah,
money on your premiums you already paid them.
you
Put
get
it
the
in
float.
yeah, whether it's investments or just sort of savings account type returns, they're still making 4 or 5% on top of the premiums that they're getting. So it's kind of like a double whammy for them. I really like them. They've like doubled over the last 3 years. Progressive, AJG, BRO, all really good stocks. So if they go the next 3 years and kind of stall out, if the markets stall out, I'm not too worried. I do have high level of confidence, just like Warren Buffett did when he bought Geico, that long term they're going to outperform the markets, and they have the statistics and numbers and math stacked in their favor. And like people always freak out, like when the California wildfires happened, which were terrible, people were like, "Oh my gosh, Progressive is going to be out of business," but they didn't have any risk there because they already calculate that ahead of time. They take out all the high risk markets.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's the smaller insurance companies that have to take on more risk to get premiums. Progressive basically just takes the policies that they have, huge advantages baked in. It's a pretty big advantage. Obviously, that's not to say, like they do have a level of risk that other companies don't. They have that
Yep.
that quote unquote catastrophic risk.
Hmm.
But like you said, they've been doing this for 100 plus years, baking that all into the books, and I think they're in pretty good shape. Um,
Quick shout out to Susan here. Bought and held Home Depot for 38 years, and that funded their retirement. Congrats, Susan.
oh, that's awesome.
Nice job there.
Yeah, that's sweet. Um, by the way, anyone trade a Foot Locker this week? Do you see Foot Locker after the deal? They're up like 82% yesterday.
No. Buyout with
Yeah.
Dick's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a crazy one. A couple of people asked about holding the position. So all the trades I gave you today, I'm looking to hold till expiration. That's something that I'm trying to do more, especially with the income machine idea of trying to get full value on the spreads. Usually I like for my active trading stuff, like overnight options, shout out 4 for 4 this week, or automated options, shout out 6 for 6, or weekend options, shout out 3 for 3. For all of those, I am using a target, but I'm trying to get more in the habit of getting max value out of those trades using the income machine technique. So for those, what you're doing is you're letting it try to expire, which in this case would actually be exercise, both sides exercise above that level. And if that happens, you're getting full value of the spread, which basically maxes out the ROI that you can get. So that's on the IBIT trade. That's on the Walmart trade. That's on the XLC trade. For all of those trades, I'm looking to try to get a full value. And one of the reasons that debit spreads are so great is because you know exactly what you're looking for. You have an expiration date, you have a line in the sand, you know that if price finishes above that level on the expiration date, you win. If not, you lose. Very binary kind of trade, which are the ones that I really enjoy taking. But yeah, for all of those, no target, no time exit. We're just looking to try to get a full maximum win.
Awesome. See, the whole time for Lily on that elite spread, it was about a month for that elite one. And we did have a question. Why did I pick that time frame? Honestly, I was kind of hamstrung just because of the options liquidity. I wanted to give it 3 weeks because I think we get a little better risk to reward, but there was just no liquidity in those options. So I had to bump it to the monthly options, if that answers that question.
Cool. By the
Well,
way, one question I keep meaning to ask, I always forget to follow up on like bigger trade calls because I'm normally like just looking at like my stuff that's expiring in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
We basically called Tesla at the lows on mapping the market before we
Yep.
merged, and then me and you kind of hit it again on the roundtable. Is anyone just making hay on Tesla? I'm up about 50 grand on Tesla since that mapping the market session. That's my biggest trade right now. Anyone else jump into Tesla early enough to be in good shape? Because I mean, we basically, if you guys were on that March, I guess that would have been that March mapping the market session, we literally called it within a couple dollars of the low. It's up, massively since then. That's my biggest position right now. What's it up?
Eh,
35% since we called it?
yeah, it's up huge. It might be up 50%.
220
Um,
to, yeah, 340.
it's funny. We took a lot of heat for that call.
I know we were getting some shade, but
We were getting some
like
real shade.
like I said, risk to reward wise, I think it was the best stock in the entire market. Honestly, it's still a good risk to reward in my opinion. Not as good as it was because you were already up huge. I'm up.
Mhm.
I already took some profits on the initial earnings trade that I gave on that session. I have the longer term, kind of like the dream portfolio trade ripping, and then I own like a good chunk of TSLL, the leverage one, just trying to play that. I think I'm going to start taking profits if we get to 350 here, which we're only about what $8 away. Actually, I think we hit 350 on the open, and I'm not paying attention. I was going to try to take like half those TSLs off at 350 and then hold the rest for 480. Because I think if it hits 480, it depends on how quickly it hits it because TSL is going to be a little bit broken if it grinds. But if it rips to 480, I think that's going to be like a $150,000 trade for me. So
Wow.
I'm fingers crossed
That's awesome.
for TSL.
It's funny. These are the lines we drew up like 3 weeks back, and look where it's sitting right now. Right there.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of thinking I'll take
That is awesome.
uh some there. Sweet. All right.
You
Well,
ready to?
do we have anything else to cover before we get into the birthday bash opportunity for some more monster Nvidia opportunities?
Meta is down. Yes, it's down and it's fallen. It looks like tech is all fading a little bit. See, here's QQQ, Nasdaq. It looks like Meta's leading the charge. Not sure why. Something came out.
Yeah, Mags actually popped
Maintain
up today
buy
and
target
then
888. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But yes, Meta. But in good news, coin is popping.
yeah, a little pullback. Everything's kind of getting a little flush right now. I'm not sure if there's something going on. Obviously, we're on here, so I'm not necessarily paying as much attention. But the robotic news is now coming out fast and furious. People calling it a $50 trillion industry and everything else. So should be pretty good tailwinds for Tesla as
Oh,
well.
I think so too. And I really think it is. It's going to have a huge tailwind. It's going to be a whole new world.
It just depends on how many killer robot attacks family in China stories also hit the headlines because you know those are also going to be headwinds. I don't know if you saw that there was one that was pretty crazy of this robot like freaking out and attacking someone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like actually pretty freaky. It went ballistic. So I think we'll get some of those headlines too, to be honest. But we'll see.
We are getting a little drop off on Nvidia too. Look at this. I saw they had news, something with China, which might give us this pretty sweet
I was gonna say, hey,
opportunity.
might have some good timing now if we're getting a drop.
Yeah, not sending GPU designs to China after reports of new Shanghai operation. I wish I knew exactly what that meant, but it's something bad.
SPY just got pulled down into the red territory. Thankfully, we already hit our overnight options target, so I don't really care. Like Graham said, little pullback, I'll take it.
Oh, look, Kava's moving towards our target. I didn't actually get the Kava trade. Like I said, we do so many trades. Sometimes I forget to send the order off. But if you did do the Kava trade again, your target's 92. So if the markets do keep pulling back, should look good there. But yeah, Nvidia. Let's take a look at this on the daily chart. You can see here with Newton, red. We traded it to the downside, Nate. I believe it was. I'm just going to estimate like around this period or so. Which obviously, did the stock go up or down here? Down. We ended up making 335%, I believe, total during this period. 335% return on investment using the elite trade. Just following Newton as our guide, taking it with what it tells us. And then now it's back green. So we're gonna have a new opportunity, I believe, today. There's like no chance it turns red today. So we're definitely gonna have a new opportunity. I hope we get a little bit deeper of a pullback.
I was gonna say maybe it'll pull right back to that baseline there around 120 whatever that is 128 or something in that
Yeah. Yeah,
in
that'd
that
be
range.
great. But that'll be coming up later today. But first, maybe we could talk a little bit more about it. I've got a special birthday announcement. I'm going to give you guys my targets as well, which are, it's funny. I gave it on August of last year when we had that big dip. And so 2 of the targets have already been hit, but there's still one more target for you guys. I said within 1 year, I think it's going to hit this number. And we're really close to it now, but not quite there. So
Nice.
I'll give you guys that.
All right. Well, so I guess the intro to this Tesla opportunity is number one. Do you guys want to trade the next 330% opportunity on Nvidia with Graham if you missed out? And number two, I think we got a new trade slash birthday special to get in on trading Nvidia. So
Oh, yeah.
the timing is right.
Well, ready to dive in?
Well, let's dive in because we're going to talk about. I mean, you guys already got a little sneak peek here, but the idea here is if you think it's way too late to make significant gains from Nvidia, then, well, maybe you haven't been paying as much attention to our opening playbook here because there's a lot more meat left on that bone, including a potential opportunity today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you flipping there, Graham?
Oh, sorry. I was reading the chat there.
All right. Well, let me kick off one more time. All right.
Okay. I had a long chat here.
No worries. All right. So let me set the stage one more time. 330% winners. We've already had a couple, both directions, by the way. Maybe a little bit of pullback today. Maybe a new opportunity today. So let me set the stage one more time. If you think you're way too late to make significant gains from Nvidia, then please pay close attention to what you're about to see.
Well done, Nate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So you see, after perfectly predicting the summer correction, which, by the way, give Graham a shout out in the chat. If you guys were an opening playbook over the summer, you absolutely crushed it from this man's predictions because the timing has been elite, to use a good word for today. So August 6th basically said, hey, we've got a big recovery opportunity here on Nvidia right before the stock ran about 40% over the next couple of weeks. And then buying the dip on Nvidia at about $92 in front of hundreds of people in the same opening playbook session that we're on right now before the stock went wild over the last couple of weeks. Now, my special guest seems a little formal for opening playbook, but he says the stars have aligned for an epic breakout on Nvidia over the next 12 months. You said you still haven't hit a couple of those price targets, right?
Just one left. We've hit 2 of them.
All right. So here's the key. You don't actually have to buy Nvidia stock this time around. There's a much better way to take advantage of the Nvidia breakout, a way that has given folks like you and me the chance to get bigger and faster moves on Nvidia while risking a lot less, by the way, than traditional investing. It's an entirely new way to target outsized acceleration cycles within Nvidia stock. And most investors don't even know this exists, thanks to 2 custom indicators that he and his team have put together. And by the way, he's uncovered a way that's averaged more than double what Nvidia itself has actually paid. So if you think that Nvidia stock has been on a tear to the last decade, well, you're right. But the average trade has more than doubled what Nvidia stock has done in less than 1/10 of the time. And it's extremely straightforward. We simply buy when the custom indicators flip red to green, like we just talked about, and then sell when Nvidia hits the optimized exit point. For example, let's go back. Let's take a run back down memory lane here, all the way back to January. If you guys remember, Nvidia stock was not looking very great back in January. 4 months of sideways chop. Most investors probably starting to lose their patience. I'm holding the stock. I know I was. But just when folks were starting to write this stock off, his 2 custom indicators flipped. Nvidia's candle from red, yellow to green right there, as you see on the chart, meaning Nvidia was entering a brand new acceleration cycle. Anyone who would have placed a quick trade on Nvidia the way that he does it would have gotten a 261% gain in only 10 days. Then right after hitting the profit target and taking the original capital at risk off the table, remember you have defined risk, folks that have gone back in and seen, hey, we've got a new opportunity, still green, flip back into a new cycle, and went ahead and entered the trade again, jumping back in for the next acceleration cycle. So a couple clicks of the mouse, you could have been right back in the game on NVIDIA, and another 212% as NVIDIA paid big again. So if you started with $1,000, and that's what I love about these trades, by the way, NVIDIA is an expensive stock to trade, expensive regular options to trade, but the way Graham does it, you could easily start with $1,000 and traded both of those back to back in January. After just 2 trades, you would have ended up with $4,730 in profit. By the way, that's less than what you would have done the last 2 trades, right? Because if you would have did the last 2 trades, it would have been like $9,000 with $1,000 in each. That's pretty, or $1,000 rolled in, I should say.
Yeah, and a lot of times, Nate, the trades are like $75.
Yeah, so pretty good. Now, $4,700, $9,300. It's not life changing. You're not going to retire off those 2 back-to-back trades, but obviously not chump change either. As a matter of fact, average Joe brings in, we always use this number because it seems so low relative to what expenses have gotten in 2025, but $63.98 a month, and that's pre-tax, by the way. That's not net income. Meanwhile, U.S. expenses are now a whopping $7,800. I remember doing these examples back in like 2018, and the number was like $3,800 or something.
Oh yeah,
It's so
Nate,
crazy.
did you see the average house price over the last 5 years? I think is up 70%,
and that's not even accounting for interest rates, right?
No, and the average salary is up like 11%.
So crazy. And then you add interest rates, the average mortgage is like more than double.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, most people are sliding backwards financially. I mean, almost everyone I talk to is in that situation. But good old NVIDIA ripping those 2 trades back to back. That would have gotten quite a bit of a bounce in your step there on the financial side of things. Now, the man behind this trading breakthrough, no rookie when it comes to the stock market, even though he's just turning a fresh 30 today.
Yeah, I got a little more beard than this picture. Not much.
Yeah,
a little
more scruff. Graham Lindman began trading under the mentorship of a former banking VP and derivatives expert when he was just 15 years old. I think that was thanks to his mom's, deal that got him in. I don't think 15-year-olds are supposed to be in the room there, but he has an uncanny ability to crunch numbers and run complex mathematical equations that ultimately scored him a full ride to college. When he was pursuing his finance MBA up in New York City, a big-time former hedge fund manager hired him immediately before any of the big Wall Street firms could grab him. And it's safe to say that the performance has been off the charts since then, with one of his published strategies sitting on an epic 81% win rate so far. Another one with an insane 2,280% model portfolio growth over the last 12 months. With live published results like these, obviously, no surprise. Oh, dude, you can't even use this slide anymore. Financial stars under the age of 30. Can't even use now at the age of 30 officially today.
As of 10 hours ago.
One more happy birthday for Graham on that. And you guys know this. I mean, many of you in the chat, his top students absolutely love him. We just got another email today that I was copied in on from Dave. Shout out Dave if you're in the chat. This one's from a different Dave. Every trade been a winner, most in high 2 and several 3-digit percent wins. Thanks from Dave S. Greg said, I'll close out SMCI for 100% gain, $2,650. Highly recommend getting in on this. JP said 2K last month, went deeper with $5,000 profit this month so far. Shout out to JP. But today, he's opening the door on something exciting and probably the most explosive ticker with the most explosive trade setup in the entire stock market. You guys know we're talking NVIDIA, a method that's shown the power to score doubles, even triples, even during some of the worst days on this stock, just like, recently. And by the way, we didn't even do a proper opening playbook shout out in that in those couple of slides because you have as much positive feedback from free opening playbook trades as just about anything else. And the idea that NVIDIA could pay on some of its worst days is not just, hyperbole, a cool way to sound good. You literally are coming off a 300+% winner on NVIDIA's down days. So real deal. The man behind it is my dear, now 30-year-old friend, Graham Lindman.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks, Nate, for that awesome introduction. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Hope you guys are having fun with the opening playbook. Give me a yes in the chat if you're enjoying the opening playbook.
One more shout out for opening playbook. Okay.
Give me a no in the chat if you think we should just cancel it altogether. Yeah, I'm just joking. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to my special birthday presentation. It shows me you're serious about trading and your finances, and really a pat on the back for all of you guys who show up multiple times per week. Hopefully we're giving you the value that you want and that you need for your trading. And also it shows me you're not willing to let a golden opportunity like this one pass you up. Now, if you're not familiar with NVIDIA, pretty sure that everyone in here is familiar with NVIDIA. But if you're not, let me catch you up to speed. Not only has this explosive stock rocketed 1,000% plus over the last few years alone, but it's also been able to blow right by other mega companies. I remember a few years back, like if you said NVIDIA, AMD, AVGO, they were all kind of like the same company. Everyone kind of thought that they're semiconductor chip stocks. Now it's like NVIDIA is bigger than Meta, bigger than Google. NVIDIA is bigger than Google, guys. Think about that.
Well, it wasn't that long ago too, where you were saying people would say something like, "Could Nvidia be the next blank Meta, Google,
Right.
Apple?" And people would be like, "You're being ridiculous. You know, you're buying the hype train. You're buying the meme stock." It's like, a little better than a meme stock at this point.
A little bit better. And it's even bigger than Amazon now. Now, thanks to many months spent researching, extensive back testing, late nights working out the kinks of the system, and about a year, over a year, full live trading, I think it was since January last year, my team and I have found a way to isolate these acceleration cycles on NVIDIA over and over again. All we have to do is wait for the custom coded candlesticks to flip from red to green, then place a quick trade to follow along. And when it works out, it's shown the power to pay doubles, even triples, time and time again. Again, on earlier this week, I gave you guys a free trade here in the opening playbook. I'm looking at it right now, up 148% right now with exactly what I'm going to show you today. Now, let's look at the acceleration cycle. Popped up a long time ago. Let's look at it in the bear market of 2022. Now, at the time, NVIDIA was down 60% from the peaks. Not pretty. Most investors probably wouldn't have touched the stock with a 10-foot pole. But right on time, NVIDIA's candle flipped from red to yellow to green. You see it right there in October. And that meant an explosive acceleration cycle was about to kick off on this stock. Now, anyone who would have taken about 2 quick minutes to set the trade could have come back to this 215% gains during this cycle. Now, before we get going, I want to be the first to tell you guys again, not every trade is going to work out. There's going to be big wins, small wins, and even losers along the way. Now, luckily, this new way of trading NVIDIA is so good that the backtest didn't show a losing acceleration cycle in over 2 years.
It's crazy.
Now, think about that for a minute. Only winning cycles for the last 24 months in a row. And when I say cycle, so this is a weekly trade, I'll walk you through it. But when I say cycle, I'm talking about like if we're long for 8 weeks, that total return that during that 8 weeks was positive every single time. And that includes actually our live trades. All but one have been positive. And I think we've had 8 or 9, maybe 10 cycles, all but one. So it's like an 89% win rate on the cycles. So today I'm going to take you through the data, trade signals that popped up recently. I'm going to show you ones that happened years ago. That way you can leave here confident that this exciting new way to trade NVIDIA was designed not only to work when the stock was moving higher, but also it keeps us out of trouble when the stock loses momentum. Plus, I'm going to show you why an under the radar development happening in NVIDIA stock right now could light the fuse to the next biggest bull run yet for this explosive ticker. But before we get there, I want to be frank with you guys. If you haven't been able to see top gains like 143%, 215%, or even the monster returns like 339% from NVIDIA over the last few years, well, then you probably haven't been coming to Opening Playbook. No, I'm just kidding. It's probably not because you're a bad trader. It's more likely because Wall Street, news media, talking heads on TV have been calling it overpriced, due for a pullback, or maybe called and said it was in a market bubble. It's funny, Jim Cramer came out on the day of the market lows and said that a 1987 Black Monday crash is right around the corner. That was the day the market hit the lows. The media is always all over it, and they're most of the time they're wrong.
And then finally, when it did pull back, and it would have been a good buying opportunity, instead of saying, "Hey, we've been saying it's overpriced, now it's better," they said, "Yeah, the stock's dead, chips are dead."
Oh yeah, so good. But it does. I mean, it does leave investors a little bit skittish. You get a little nervous. Fear is a strong emotion, and it leaves you waiting on the sidelines. But they've been saying these things about NVIDIA for over a year now. Let me go ahead and split adjust this. When NVIDIA was $30 per share, look at this. Don't buy the hype. Not worth it. To give you guys a hint, it's up 4x that right now. What about when it hit $40 a share, split adjusted? Morningstar said NVIDIA is upgraded, but shares are now officially overvalued. Wrong again. What about when NVIDIA hit $50 a share? Business Insider said it's ridiculously high. And then the media went crazy when NVIDIA broke $70 a share. Look at this. The street says analysts see a downside of 5%. It's overvalued. Wrong, 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 wrong. His people, more overvalued than the dot-com bubble. New York University's Dean of Valuation, very smart guy. I'm sure he is really smart. I'm not knocking the guy, but he says it's particularly overpriced, and he was dead wrong. Because now Nvidia shares are nearly doubled since that point. So if you missed out on some incredible returns over the last few months, I really don't blame you. The truth is that most so-called investing experts love to box the best stocks in.
100%.
So you guys have probably seen my charts. I've shown you why I leave a space in there, and this is exactly why. You look at a chart like this and you say, look, it's at the peaks. The chart doesn't go any higher. There's no price above it. Don't buy it. It's all the way topped out. When really, folks just need to zoom out and look outside the box. When you look at a chart like this, all of a sudden it looks like there's room for growth. You can actually visualize the big picture. So when you zoom out on NVIDIA's chart, all of a sudden there's tons of room left for growth. Now, it's this big mistake of boxing stocks in that holds so many folks back from, frankly, the easiest and most explosive stocks to trade. I saw the same thing years ago with Apple when it kept hitting new highs time and time again. Dozens of Wall Street analysts and bankers were calling it overpriced or too expensive. Meanwhile, millions of investors were left waiting for a pullback that never, ever came. They got left in the dust. Now, the key is tuning out the media, tuning out the so-called experts, and instead, let's just play the momentum. Let's play the day-to-day, what's going on. Let's wait for the candle to flip from red to yellow to green and target the next acceleration cycle, taking it one at a time. For example, like in February, when all of the talking heads were talking their own head off, my indicators picked up on an acceleration cycle on NVIDIA. And that meant not one, but two things. Number one, there was a really good chance that NVIDIA was about to rip higher and higher. Remember, these have worked out on the live trades. The cycles are 89% win rate on the live trades. So that's number one. Number two, it meant that those folks waiting on a pullback, those who listened to the news and said, I'm going to wait, well, you'd never be able to buy NVIDIA for $70 again. And that still holds true to this day. Now, anyone had taken advantage of this NVIDIA acceleration cycle the way that I would have traded it could have seen a 339% gain during that cycle, probably across 3 trades for the month. Then the next acceleration cycle rolled around just days later, and anyone who took advantage of this one could have seen a 209% gain for that cycle.
Yeah, so obviously those are huge. And I think what you said is so important. People are shocked that if you just bought good stocks at all-time highs, you would actually do really well.
Yeah.
And so $500 plopped into the first one alone. That's $1,695 in profit. That's 300+% crazy. If you put $5K into that trade, you would have won $16,950 on one trade, on one acceleration cycle, which is money, cut down your mortgage, pay off a car loan, maybe actually go toward your savings, which I know a lot of people are having a brutal, what was that stat? Like 80% of people don't have an emergency fund or something like that. So, I mean, just having that extra cash actually hit your account. And we're not talking about buying NVIDIA 10 years ago when it was, $10 a share, and that's split adjusted. These results are from a couple weeks of trading.
And Nate, that's how powerful these NVIDIA acceleration cycles can be. Now, again, let's all take a big breath here. I'm showing you some big returns today. In fact, let me show you some more big returns here. And let me just show you just the potential with NVIDIA. We've got this one from Opening Playbook up 155. Got this one from Lightning Trades up 400%. Big returns, big opportunities. But let's take a deep breath. I want to be extra clear. Not every trade is going to win. The good news is that over the last 2 decades, that's 20 years of data, there were 126 total acceleration cycle. 104 of them won during that time. That's a really good win rate. That's an 82% hit rate on these cycles. And again, our live trading, since I've been publishing this to members, we're at 89% win rate on the cycles. So we're doing really good. Now, that means that around 8 out of every 10 trade cycles would have handed over some monster profits. And again, here's the live trade data so far. When you look at the full cycle, we've had 8 and 1. This is just a full cycle. So there were multiple weekly trades within them, but in total, 89% came out with a profit. Look at our total profit so far, 400% growth. And I believe that's scaling about 10% of the count with 60 grand in profit. And the average return per cycle, guys, 139% over 23 days. Not bad. There you go. 139, 60 grand in under 18 months of trading. Now, you may have noticed that the candlesticks on my chart, they're either red, yellow, or green. That doesn't represent an up day or down day. That represents something else. That's a custom code I developed to map out these acceleration cycles on NVIDIA with just a quick glance. Now, just by looking at the colors, we can easily tell if we're in, on deck, or if we're out of the trade. Now, these acceleration cycles are so powerful that they've been able to take the profit potential sky high. In essence, my system is designed to hone in on the most bullish moments for Nvidia and cut out that garbage in between. So if you just look at those green sections and paste them all together, you get a much prettier chart. Now, I'll cover all the finer details in just a moment. Plus, I'll even give a handful of you a chance to download the copy of the indicator for yourself. But first, to show you how it's worked in all market environments, let's go all the way back to 2020. Uh-oh, COVID, lockdown, you remember that. Crazy how long ago that was. But most people were terrified of the stock market, and for good reason too. You guys remember those headlines. Folks thought the pandemic would guarantee a financial collapse with people out of work, supply chains broken down, and the world at a standstill. But I promise you that this strategy doesn't care what's going on in the world. It just tracks these high probability acceleration cycles on NVIDIA, taking it one trade at a time. Now, my custom indicators flip the candles from red to yellow to green here in early April, and that was a clear-cut buy signal. Now, if you had seen that signal and placed the trade the way I like to take advantage of it, you could have grabbed 253% net gain during that acceleration cycle. And then after taking profits when we hit the optimized target, could have checked in again the following week and seen another acceleration cycle as the custom coded candles were still bright green. Now, anyone who would have followed along with this high conviction signal could have seen 138% gain during that period of time. And on as NVIDIA recovered after the pandemic, my custom indicators would have picked up on each and every acceleration cycle along the way. And these returns on some of the options were no joke either. Every single one of the cycles were in the triple digits. So here was the November cycle, 246. August to October, 106. June through July, 217. You guys can see on and on and on. Now, amazingly enough, the system didn't spit out a single losing acceleration cycle until 2 years after the COVID crash. You would have gone 2 years in a row without a single losing cycle. But if you think that's good, wait until you see this. These custom indicators are so good at pinpointing these acceleration cycles on NVIDIA that it actually would have kept you out of the 2022 bear market completely, with the exception of, look at that, one loser there. So you did take one loss during that down market there. They do happen. But then it would have got you in here at the low. So you exited here 280, back in down here at 150. Wow, an extremely well-timed buy. One that would have ended up paying out 215% over the next trade. But if you think that's cool, it gets even better. Because as I'll show you in a moment, folks could have actually turned these red sections, these negative momentum sections, into monster returns as well. 308% gain, 889% gain.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've ever seen a system to go 2 years after that without a loser. Buying the bottom is one thing, but essentially avoiding that meltdown altogether, and also like you just showed, the ability to profit from it. That's probably even more impressive because that's where most of the traders we know get punched in the face is on those opportunities. And obviously, I realize those are some big results, but you're a big results type of trader. You just showed your account. There's some pretty good ones in there. Back in 2021, you more than doubled your account in about 6 months, posting about 30 grand in profit there on the old Robinhood. Last year, actually, this would be going back to 2024. Doubled your, or 2023, I think this was. Double your account. Was this 2024?
Yep.
Okay, so this was over double in 2024, 25K to 34,900 in profit on that one. And, there's a reason, obviously, thousands of people tune into your picks and predictions every day.
Well, Nate, I'm pleased to report that my trading has been doing exceptionally well. And some of my very best trades actually came from the same phenomenon on NVIDIA. Again, I gave you guys a free taste this week. We're up 150% right now, 157% on it, just updated. So we've had a lot of great winners. And my hope is that today you can join in on the action too. Now, you might be wondering what makes these acceleration cycles so powerful. Well, there's a couple things, but when it comes to big tech stocks, everyone wants to grab their slice of the pie. So when a stock like NVIDIA starts moving fast, greed takes over and momentum builds, and builds a lot faster than a lot of other stocks, even like faster than Apple, Microsoft, because everyone's so excited about NVIDIA. And that's why these bullish acceleration cycles often happen in quick bursts when institutional money pours in. And the logic behind Wall Street's greed is simple. Number one, NVIDIA is the top stock by about 100 miles. There's the NVIDIA. This isn't the S&P. This is the Mag 7.
Yeah.
So all the best stocks, you can just see how much better NVIDIA is than the best. And more importantly, Number two, even while Nvidia's price is skyrocketing and many people have been calling it overbought, the price to earnings ratio is actually shrinking dramatically. Now, that means fundamentally, Nvidia is actually a better deal right now than it was a year ago. Pretty crazy, right? Put simply, it's one of the healthiest companies that we've seen in the history of the stock market. And with Nvidia as the AI frontrunner, designing all of the chips for a lot of the big stocks and what they need so desperately, the future is bright for this explosive stock. And that opens the door for hundreds of these acceleration cycles over the coming months and years ahead. Now, luckily, with my custom indicators monitoring NVIDIA around the clock, we don't have to wait years and years to chase some remarkable results. We can catch our very first opportunity as soon as this very week. Actually, today is when we'll be entering a new trade. Now, let's take a look at the cycles that happened in March of 2024. The first one was when my custom indicators would have caught the acceleration cycle starting on March 4th. Anyone who placed a quick trade to follow along could have jumped in as NVIDIA gained 4% over the next week. Not bad, right? 4% move on a stock, pretty good. But with my way of trading, they could have seen an incredible 118% gain during that week. Now, right after cashing out with a nice profit and locking in the gains, folks could have entered again on the next signal right here, Monday, March 11th. And NVIDIA stock actually gained 10% over the next 2 weeks, which is a whopper of a move. But anyone trading the options, how I do it, could have seen a combined 273% gain during that 2 week period.
Yeah, so over that month, Nvidia gained about 3.75%. Pretty good run per week on average for a stock. I would take that. About 15% over the entire month, which is enough to take, a $5,000 stake, turn it into $750 of profit if you held Nvidia over the course of March. But if someone had used your style, instead of, during the month, getting what, $750, the same time would have ended up at $19,558 in 1 month, kind of stacking those positions, which is about 26 times the bang for the buck. And no, that's not compounding or rolling over the profits. That's just taking each trade with the same stake throughout the month. And while you've kept this trading method between you and some of the close colleagues up until this broadcast, and obviously gave some free trades over the last couple of weeks, you've actually had some of your star students in various services hit that mark before. Charles said up $19,000 this month. Keep it coming. We had Jack who said up $25,000 just a few months. Nice job, Jack M.
Yeah, those are some truly amazing stories. We actually had Lisa post here in the chat today. She's up $8,000 this week following the opening playbook. So I love to see that. And those are some of the best I've heard. Now, of course, everyone has a different journey. I can't promise anyone future results nor protect against losses. But Nate, that's where I think NVIDIA trade takes it up a notch. You see, after hitting those back-to-back triple-digit winners in March, NVIDIA actually fell into a slump for the next 6 weeks. Look at that. Not pretty price action. But as you can clearly see by the red candles on the chart, my custom indicators would have kept you out of that mess. You could have avoided those losses during that time, and then it would have got us back in right in time on May of last year, just before the next leg up. And had you taken 30 seconds to place your trade, 223% gain over the next cycle, enough to have flipped $2,500 into $8,075.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that the proof and power of this type of trading is undeniable. I mean, how many 200+% winners is that? And it's insane. I absolutely love that. Like I said before, opportunity to go for big swings right now. And I also love the fact that it's actually doing that while avoiding and even profiting from some of the downturns. So let's cover actually how the indicators work together. And then, of course, the big news in the birthday bash today, how people are going to get into an opportunity, hopefully in a couple hours.
Yeah, well, Nate, I have good news for you and I have bad news. The bad news is I can't reveal all the details of the proprietary indicators here. That would be like Hershey's giving away its secret chocolate formula. But I can clue you in on part of the secret. You see, NVIDIA typically moves best in bursts of around 10% on the underlying stock before cooling it back off. And that's not over a week, that's over a period of time. So you can see here, 14 days, 175 days, 42 days, a mix of time, but we get these constant 10% returns. And after countless variations of methods and concepts that didn't quite capitalize on the full potential of NVIDIA's acceleration cycles, we had our biggest breakthrough ever. We discovered that by measuring each individual candle's net movement, we were able to isolate NVIDIA momentum in a whole new way. And that allows us to get in before what could be the next big move. Now, that custom momentum indicator became the cornerstone of this strategy. And historically, when NVIDIA has enough momentum and is above its indicator, we see sustained surges in price about 83% of the time. And again, on the live trades for the cycles, we're actually doing a little better, 89% of the time so far from the live trades. Now, we've seen it through the years. 2020, here's 116% gain. What about 2022? That bear market, 167% gain. Again, 2024, 261% gain. Now, isolating these acceleration cycles was one thing, but the major achievement was actually in how we select the options for this type of trade. You see, the big problem with typical NVIDIA options is that they're expensive to trade, extremely high implied volatility, and you need big moves to ROI. I gave a whole class on it yesterday of why buying most options is a ripoff and you're like destined to lose. Same
Especially
problem
on a
here.
stock like Nvidia, where those big moves are so priced in.
Yep. They're actually so bad, Nate, that oftentimes we would see a winning acceleration cycle end up losing money on the options. Think about that. That means the stock moved at least 10%, 10%, and you lost money on the options. That's how bad they are. Now, my team and I ran dozens of mathematical models looking for the optimal risk to reward scenarios, and we ended up stumbling on a special way to leverage weekly options on NVIDIA for maximizing returns. Why weekly options? Well, one, they're extremely affordable, right? We're not paying thousands of dollars per contract. A lot of them are around $100. Amazing liquidity, tons of volume. They're the most liquid options NVIDIA has, so you have no problem getting in and out. And it allows us to supercharge the returns in these acceleration cycles. Now, in order to pick the right option, we have to take into account all sorts of factors between the measured move of the stock, the implied volatility, the delta, and more. But hiding in the NVIDIA options chain are nearly perfect options to leverage. I call them the elite options. And you guys have seen the power of them this week. Now, by using the elite options, we get to take advantage of these extremely bullish moves with very explosive options time and time again. For example, like I showed you in May, had you taken typical expensive call options on the trade, it would have cost you thousands of dollars. It would have paid out 70%. Not bad. No one's crying about
Take
70%
70%.
gain, right? But the elite options, 223%
Like that better.
gain.
Yeah, difference between 2,500 paying 1,760, which hey, again, not going to complain about, or $5,583 in profit, 3 times the bang for the buck on the exact same amount of risk. And to confirm, any broker can do this, right?
That's exactly right. Schwab, E-Trade, Robinhood, you name it. You can even take these elite trades in a retirement account if you'd like to. Now, these elite options are powerful, and let's take a look at the February example. Now, over this 2-week period, NVIDIA gained 10%, right? That's a good positive move. However, the typical call options were so overpriced with such high implied volatility that even though you were right on the direction of the move, you would have earned next to nothing. Normal call options, you actually underperformed the stock. That is embarrassing. And that's why I said yesterday, I said, you're never going to hear about this online. You go on YouTube, everyone says, oh, this is the easy way to do it. Easy way to do it. Well, guys, 2.9% really. But with the elite options that I'm using, the ones that we're going to use together, 339% gain during that time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I need to see what you're doing here because obviously 2.9% to 330%, that's you're not just talking about a little edge in the market. That is a vastly different outcome for the same stake, the same stock, the same move over the same time. And most people got tricked into, those normal way. I mean, in NVIDIA, if you looked at the call option volume in NVIDIA during some of those rallies, people were getting suckered in left and right and earning way less than what even the actual stock paid. But meanwhile, your lead options could have turned $2,500 into a very nice profit, $6,782. So let's talk about what the secret sauce is with the elite trade.
Well, like I mentioned a moment ago, the secret is buried in a stack of mathematical calculations, derivatives models, and numbers that would bore you to sleep. Honestly, guys, the secret was in just testing and testing and testing and testing till we found the optimal options. But that's how I've seen some of the ugliest trade results on NVIDIA turn into jaw-dropping numbers. Get a load of this one. For example, remember that 6-month dry spell from late last year? Boring, boring, boring. No, not pretty at all. With that much choppy action, normal call buyers would have gotten smoked. I mean, the stock didn't even make money. Of course, call buyers would have gotten smoked. Time decay would have run your investment all the way to the ground. You would have lost 100% over that 6-month period. All right. But the elite options, you think maybe we broke even, maybe a small loss, right? Nope. 196% gain. Look at that. Look at the difference there. And this goes back again to what I showed you yesterday because we're getting such bigger risk to reward. We're going for those outsized gain. Even when we do have losers in a cycle, it smokes it in the long run. So instead of taking 100% loss, 196% gain. So I hope you can see why I call this new type of trade the elite trade.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really is incredible. Like for example, today with Nvidia slumping, regular call options, you're burning all the profit you made. But the way you set it up, you're still in good position, so you're still holding on to basically all that profit, which is an incredible advantage. Now, during one of the worst times to own the stock, you still could have nearly tripled your investment. If you invested $5,000, look there. Okay, stock, you make 531 bucks. But really not bad, honestly. Get a little 10% return there over time. But calls, that's all priced in. So you're going to lose every penny on that option. And then the elite number is just crazy. $9,821 over the exact same time period on the same stock. That's the difference between feeling stressed out, like you need to throw a Hail Mary. I can't believe I just called it right and still lost money. I need to do something crazy, double down, whatever on the next trade, versus having enough profit to book an all-inclusive trip to Cancun for a week on, again, the same stock, same time. Maybe even have a shot, like one of your top students, Robinson, who said he made $7,500. He's on vacation in Florida, taking advantage of that $7,500 win.
Well, that's amazing, isn't it? I love to see those stories, but these really are real results, really happening in real time. And let me show you our most recent one. Oof, Nvidia got smoked, right? Not pretty. We remember this, guys, the drop that we just had. How do we do on the live trades? Did we take a loser? Well, call options lost for sure. Put options probably lost too because the IV. Stock owners lost. How did we do? Nate, we did 308% gain on the cycle. So we had 6 trades during that week, during that cycle, 6 weekly trades. There were winners, there were losers, but overall the cycle paid 308% while the stock looked like this. Now, 2,500 bucks starting out over the last trade cycle would have turned into $10,200, and that's a real-time trade. Just the other week, guys, this just happened, and during one of the worst times for Nvidia. Real time, real gains, $10,200 in potential growth. So if you guys want in on the next trade, well, I'm actually packaging it up today and sending out to you guys today, and you can get it inside of the Nvidia Elite program. And we're doing a little birthday special today. So hold on to your seats. Things are going to get wild. Now, this is the only place in the world that I know of that pairs the high-powered acceleration cycles with the elite options to target triple-digit moves on what might be the most explosive stock on the planet, at least a very, very fun one to trade. Now, starting today and every week going forward, I will send you the current Nvidia Elite trade. I'll break down where we're at in the acceleration cycle according to the data, as well as the exact options I'm buying for the Elite trade, all spelled out for you. Then it's going to be up to you if you want to take the trade. Like what folks could have seen back in January here, a 261% gain during that cycle. Then I'll check back in at the end of the week on Friday to let you know if it's time to close the trade or if we're going to extend it for some more gains. Again, everything will be sent to you in an easy to follow alert, step by step. You're going to get the email notification, cell, Telegram. You get the whole shebang, step by step with the options, right to your email, cell, and Telegram. Just like the very next Nvidia Elite trade that would have hit your inbox. This one would have ended up paying 212% during that cycle.
Yeah, so if you put $1,000 in the first trade, and then, just pulled the initial out and rolled just the profit. So you're taking your money back off the sideline, house money, so to speak. $1,000 on those 2 trades would have turned into $8,143 in 1 month, which is one of the cool things, by the way, about the cycles that you can sometimes get on a real roll there. Obviously, use proper trade management and all that kind of stuff, but you could really roll some pretty awesome trades. And so with that type of potential, obviously, I'm sure the value for Nvidia Elite program is sky high. I mean, just in the last, 3 weeks, you would have had multiple 300% opportunities.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely worth a ton of money. But today I do have a special surprise to celebrate the birthday special, and it's going to cut the price down dramatically. More on this in a moment. Now, you may have noticed that there are a few elements to the Nvidia Elite trade that I didn't have time to cover today, like the specific details behind the 2 custom indicators working together and the optimized options criteria for selecting the Elite trade options. And that's because those 2 ingredients mixed together are, frankly, maybe the most powerful market force I've ever seen. And to put it simply, they are far too valuable to hand over for free. However, for the new members to Nvidia Elite, you're going to get access to all the details for no extra charge. You can catch all of the details in the masterclass where I covered every last aspect of the indicators. Plus, I even covered the basics of the Elite trade. That way you can apply this special form of option selection to some of your other strategies too.
Yeah, which I mean, applying that strategy to other trades is a massive benefit. I mean, if you guys have traded options and dealt with implied volatility, you already know that. But your students have done an amazing job of that. I mean, a lot of the testimonials are from people doing your strategies with other trades. We'll make $1,040 on Nvidia tomorrow. Also did my own trade on GLD and closed that out for another 100%, said Greg. Jen said WFC, so that's Wells Fargo. Not even a trade that Graham gave, but Jen put on an elite trade, made $5,700. Amazon 1,800, MLM 1,250. Again, just using the strategy. Jim said so far I made over $5,000 using the strategy. Thank you. And then Deb said, "You're a great teacher. Your masterclass where you do live trades with us are great experiences. I tried the wrap order on mRNA. That's Moderna. Won $6,500. Again, not even a trade you gave, just a trade that she found and then used
Yep.
the strategy on,
And
which are fun.
yeah, those stories are music to my ears. And to make sure you guys have everything you need, you're going to get the whole options crash course. You're going to get all of the options trainings that I put together. There's a 16 base module series that'll just take you through the basics, but then you're also going to get my more in-depth wrap order masterclass, the elite trade training, and the options calculators included for free. Now, if you run the numbers from the trade, starting with 5K invested, never risking too much, never going all in, and without compounding a single penny. So I was mistaken earlier. Thought it was with compounding. This is actually even safer. No compounding. You'd be sitting on $60,000, $60,332 in profit. And again, you can see our cycles have been very, very good. 89%. Our average return, 139% per cycle. So that's since January 2024. Live trades, 89% win rate on the full cycles, which isn't too bad, right? So I have another bonus for you guys to make it even better, though. The double dip downturns. Now, remember earlier, I showed you that some of these red candlesticks can help keep us out of some terrible downturns like in 2022. But I've actually had our team run the same type of options, the same elite options, but just to the downside. Actually, Nate, it's funny. We did a free trade here on Hershey's using these type of options. Hershey's, HSY, earlier this week, it's up 150% right now. So we can trade it to the downside too. And the results speak for themselves. Look at those two gains there during the terrible 2022 bear market. And let's look at this 2018 when Nvidia fell off a cliff, 181% gain to the downside. What about more recently? The drop we just saw, the drop we just got out of. Nvidia got smoked. How did we do? 308% gain on the cycle, pulled right from the live trade tracker that folks just like you have been able to take advantage of. So here's what I'm doing. Whenever NVIDIA momentum flips from green to red, signaling the end of an acceleration cycle, I'll send you those trades as a bonus for no extra charge as long as you take one of the memberships today.
All right. So not only does that add a ton of value, I mean, literally just would have done like a $3,000 trade with $1,000 invested and give folks even more profit opportunities, but also means for those who, actually do think that NVIDIA is due for a pullback, which I know there's a couple people in the chat said, hey, I think it's overcooked. Michael Burry might start shorting it, all that kind of stuff. Well, who cares? Whether it's a market bubble that's about to rip or crash, you're going to get the signal. It's going to be obvious, red or green, and NVIDIA Elite's going to be perfect for you, regardless of which way you think it's going to go. So I absolutely love what you've done here with everything you've shown us. The value is, easily $10,000. Like we said, $1,000 in just the last two trades or last two cycles, I should say, would have ROI'd into about 10 grand. So that's pretty good. So tell us what NVIDIA Elite's going to cost, especially with the birthday special.
Well, you're going to be shocked when you see how affordable we've made this new program today. And I do have to let you guys know this is a one-day special. It's for my birthday. It's fun. A little one-day special. But first, let me add even more value. Bonus number 2, the live earnings rooms 4 times a year. NVIDIA is by far the most exciting stock to trade during earnings seasons. And normally we get a couple other tickers that day too. Now, if you've attended the live trade rooms, you've probably hit it out of the park with me. We have taken, I think, a loser or two, but we were like 5 for 5 for a little stretch there of nice little trades. Now, given my results, my team and I have been discussing selling the NVIDIA earnings room for $9.95 per year on the side. But like I said, this service is called Elite for a reason, because I truly want it to be an all-encompassing experience on this explosive stock. So when you join today, which I'd like for you to do, you're also going to get free access to the live NVIDIA Elite trading room 4 times per year. That'd be like having a VIP badge around your neck. Now, if you pair the bullish upside of NVIDIA, what's going on right now with the massive AI catalysts that can't even keep up with demand, we're talking about a very, very rare, once-in-a-generation opportunity here. So sure, $10K or $5,000 per year to charge for the service, that might be a fair deal. but I want this deal to be as explosive as NVIDIA's chart, and I want everybody to have a chance to join. So I'm going to cut down the cost dramatically, taking the price of this new elite trading experience, not $5,000 per year, not $29.95 per year, only $1,839 for elite access. I think that's more than a fair deal. Like Nate said, the last cycle, $1,000 in, would have more than covered this entire membership. But we're not done just yet. I said we're going to have some fun for our birthday special. So last bonus, 24-hour birthday special. It's not even 24 hours. I think it goes away at midnight tonight. Today I turned 30. So I'm going to have some fun and knock an extra $300 off the sticker price. And Nate, what do you got?
Well, I love it. I thought you were going to say I'm going to knock $30 off. I don't know if that's going to get me enough to get excited, but 300 makes more sense. All right, I love it. Take another $300 off for your birthday. It's not my birthday, but I'm going to get in on the fun and double it. We'll take another 300 off. Not 1839, which is already, like we said, $1,000 would have paid for 2 years at that on the last trade. Not 1,539. Let's go down to $1,239, a price that you've absolutely never done on NVIDIA Elite.
Yep. Let's go for it, guys. We're going to give you $600 off today. Only $1,239 for Elite access. But warning, best deal expires tonight. It is a birthday special, so we're giving you $600 off the sticker price right away. So if you want access to the NVIDIA Elite program, taking advantage of these acceleration cycles over and over again, starting with your first trade today, well, and you'll also get the other bonuses as well, then go to prosperitypub.com/elite or give us a call, guys. 904-706-3537. Raleigh also was kind enough to post that link in the chat. So you can click that link in the chat to get started. And remember, we're going to have a new trade today. You don't want to miss it. We've been having a lot of fun. And today is a little birthday special, turning 30, taking $300 off, and then we're doing it again, knocking it down to $1,200.
Dude, if someone took your last NVIDIA trade just from Opening Playbook, just the free one, and threw $1,000 in it, they just paid for their new Elite membership on the birthday special today. So that's the benefit of being an Opening Playbook, not just the free trades, but whenever we decide to get fun and frisky and do a special deal, you guys always hear about it first. Sometimes no one else even does hear about it because we get, we fill up spots and no one even hears about it. But we'd love for you guys to jump in, take advantage of the grand birthday special. By far the best price we've ever done on NVIDIA Elite. And I think the opportunity, like I just said, whether we're melting up, melting down, these trades have been absolutely ripping in both directions. So hope absolutely everyone's able to take advantage and maybe, no guarantees, but maybe hit a trade over the next week that pays for the membership all over again.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. We actually aren't even doing a webinar outside of the Opening Playbook. So you guys are in the right place for the sweet deal. And Nate, there's that trade you mentioned. It's just been climbing higher and higher. It's at 170 now. It's been climbing higher and higher during this webinar. So at 162% now, hopefully you guys got it. But again, once you take the best deal membership today, again, knocking $600 off, trying to make it so everyone can join. Once you do that, get your name in there, your email, click sign up. It's going to take you to a next page. Don't close that next page because on that page, you'll get a unique invite to upgrade to lifetime, which means obviously no renewal fees ever again. Plus, the lifetime members will get a free copy of the acceleration cycle indicator as well. That way you can access even more of these reliable setups anywhere, anytime on any stock out there. Now, it will only take a few seconds really to install the code. No confusing downloads or programs needed. Setup is easy as 1, 2, 3. Now, once you get your hands on the code, you'll have a virtually unlimited amount of these explosive trades at your fingertips. I show you how to trade it. And for those of you who have Newton, it obviously looks like Newton because it is Newton, which we have then sold separately. So again, you guys are going to get a special free bonus when you take the lifetime upgrade there. And again, no renewal fees for the NVIDIA Elite membership. New trades are coming today. Best deal is expiring tonight, though. It's a birthday special. I want to thank you all for congratulating me on my birthday, but I want to give you guys a little something back for it.
Yep, love what we've done here, especially for our opening playbook folks here. First off, results from the original back test were insane. 118%, 273% in 14 days, 339% in 18 days. But the results from live trades, even better. Again, every cycle except for one has been a winner. $60,000. That's not compounding. That's just literally the same stake in each trade. If you compounded and rolled the cycles into one another, that number would be much, much bigger. And I can't wait for the next one. I will be taking today's trade as soon as you send it out. And then I'll maybe even consider paying for my membership if I hit as a winner.
There you go. Yeah, I'll make you pay. Awesome. Well, guys, I hope you're joining. Hope you're signing up. But let me answer some common questions. I know we've got a lot in the chat. I will get to them here in just a second, but let's knock out some of the common ones. How much money is needed? Well, the trades average around $100, so it's definitely small account friendly. And I'll even show you some cool tricks so you can get it down even lower if you need to. So again, it's very, very small account friendly. You don't need to pay thousands of dollars for the options here. Will every trade be a winner? Awesome, awesome question. Can I get anyone in the chat to answer this one for me? Will every trade be a winner? Can we get you guys in the chat here? Of course not, guys. No strategy wins 100% of the time. But according to my tests in real money trades, the Nvidia Elite trades have been extremely profitable for folks who stick with the system. These full cycles, again, in the cycles, like say, let's say it's a 6-week cycle, that's going to be 6 weekly trades. Maybe
Yeah.
4 win and 2 lose. But over the whole cycle, we're going to come out, I can't say we're going to, 89% of the time, we've come out net profitable with a really, really nice average.
I think that's one of the big questions we already got was basically the cycle. So we're looking at it as a cycle because that's what it's defined or designed to do is to capture those cycles. But the trades are more active because you're going to get like a new weekly opportunity, just basically stack those opportunities when a cycle's ripping. You don't want to just take one 200% trade. You want to take, 5 200% trades if it's ripping.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that the cycle numbers, there's no funky math there. It's not like we're scaling it where you double your investment every time and you just compound. No, those are just very basic, bland, the most risk off investment method you could take with this program, and those are the results. So, beauty of the system, yes, there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, but the cycles have been very, very profitable. Question number 3: should you be worried about more downside in the markets this year? Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. That's up for you. But the beauty of this system is that the Nvidia Elite trades can happen in both bullish and bearish environments, guys, which is why I'm including those double dip downturns today for free. Here was the most recent example of that from March through April this year, just a few weeks ago, guys. Not good, not pretty. Call option buyers lost money. Put option buyers probably made a little money, but I don't think they did anything like what we did here. 308% gain on that cycle while Nvidia was bleeding out. So we're able to take it in both directions. Can you trade this in an IRA or 401k? Yes, it is retirement account friendly. And if you're using just normal account, any regular brokerage should do the trick for you. Obviously, contact your broker if you have any questions on that. What's the next trade? I'm only sharing that that information with the charter members today. But remember, I'm going to give you the information you need to know which includes the exact options criteria, the expiration date, strike prices, price to pay, profit potential, all of that good information, all done for you. I give you entry alerts and exit alerts as well. What are the NVIDIA price targets? So this was from our August 6th class. If you were live, NVIDIA was at, I don't even remember. I don't want to give a number, but I want to say like $90. And I told you 90% chance it comes back to 125. It's above that now. I said 75% chance it hits 150, which it did just the other week before the crash or the most recent pullback. So we hit both of those targets so far. And then my more lofty target, which I gave a 60% chance to, I said NVIDIA is going to hit $200 from where it is now. That would be about a 40% gain, 50%, yeah, a little under 45% gain. So there's still a good chance of that, I think, especially if I'm right about markets printing new all-time highs in June. That will pretty much put NVIDIA well on its way there. So there's your free price targets on NVIDIA over the next few months. So this was an August 6th prediction, but saying what's going to happen over the next year. So this gives you about a 4-month window of what I believe could happen from here. Again, new trade posted today. Click that link in the chat to get started, or just give us a call, 904-706-3537. We'll get you taken care of in the program and rolling just in time for the new trades. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, dude, I'm super pumped about this. I feel like you have gone absolutely above and beyond for Opening Playbook, folks. I really do. I mean, the amount of free trades, the amount of training classes, it's been incredible. So I hope everyone takes you up on the offer. Everyone jumps in today. I think, I believe it's a great opportunity right now in the market to be aggressive, to try to go for those bigger wins. And the cool thing with NVIDIA Elite is that you have the downside part totally baked into the strategy, so that if things do flush back out, it's not like, oh, hey, we bet everything on black, it's going up, and then you're screwed. It actually is a dynamic strategy for trading in both directions. So again, don't know if you could do anything more to set people up to be a member here after the free trades, the winners, the classes. You've really gone above and beyond. And so I hope everyone jumps in, gives you a chance on NVIDIA Elite, because it's probably been, the most profitable thing that people could have their hands on in 2025 so far. And, at $1,239, I mean, give me a break. One winning trade at the average winner is going to smash that at like $1,000 trade. So Take advantage, folks. The deal is we do have the counter on the order form right now, so I don't know exactly what it is, midnight Pacific or something like that. That the timer is already clicking down to. So just make sure you jump in before that, and obviously even better, get in before the next couple hours so you get the trade that Graham's about to send out.
Definitely. And post in the chat, guys, if you have questions. I'm going through and trying to answer them now.
Yeah. I think a big question was kind of on how many trades they're going to get, because we talked about the cycles, but obviously you're going to do the weekly trades on top of the cycles when everything's active.
Yeah, so the cycle, it's just a weekly, exactly what you said. So if we're in a cycle, if we have the green candle, I'm just going to place a weekly trade every Friday as long as it's green. And then when it turns yellow, I'm going to stop sending it. We'll say we're done for now. We're going to wait for our opportunity. And then when it flips red, we'll do a weekly trade again until it's no longer red. And then we'll wait for it to flip green. So I hope that makes sense. As long as the cycle's paying, we're going to be playing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's a
Right,
good
right,
slogan
right. So
there.
you're taking advantage to the upside and the downside.
Yep, exactly. So
Yep.
Mark here said Michael Burry is short in Nvidia. So Mark, if you're bearish on Nvidia, well, let's let the momentum do the talking and we'll trade it.
Well, also Michael Burry was 2 years early on 2008, so
Michael Burry also said sell stocks at the bottom of 2022, but he's got a good average annual return. But for those of you who yesterday didn't like the thought of having a 50% win rate, well, Michael Burry's probably got about a 30% one.
yeah, he's a home run trader, which
He's
I
a home
mean,
run trader.
I give him credit because
He's made money on it.
he's hit some serious home runs, but
Yep,
he's been wrong more often than he's been right for what that's worth, you
definitely.
know.
Mm-hmm. So another question came up from several people. Can you just re-review what extras, what goodies come with the VIP?
Yeah, so with the base membership, guys, you're going to get the weekly trade alerts. You're going to get the options material. You're going to get the live earnings trade room. In the calculators, everything in there included. For the VIP members, you're going to get lifetime access, which means pay once, never pay again. We have the whole legacy sort of thing going on with that, where you can pass it down if you want to. But you're not just going to get lifetime access, year-over-year access. You're also going to get access to the code itself. Which gives you momentum readings on any stock out there in the market. You can type it in, any stock you can imagine, futures, Bitcoin, Forex. It'll work on that as well. And there is a lower study too that we didn't have time to cover today as well. Now that's about a $900 value. That's included for free for the lifetime members.
Wow, that's fantastic. And do I have to have any special chart platform to take advantage of that, Graham?
That's on Thinkorswim. That code is on Thinkorswim. It's a pretty powerful code. So I had to put it on Thinkorswim. So it worked in sync with the watch list and everything that pops up every day.
Okay.
And I didn't mention that either. It comes with the scanner, or if you click it, it'll show you all the new entries for the day. For those of you guys have Newton, it's the same base code as Newton. Originally, it's funny. I built Newton, and I wasn't planning on selling it separately. It was only for this NVIDIA trade. And then we ended up testing and optimizing on other stocks as well. Built it out a little bit more. Now we sell it for $9.97. So again, lifetime members. Not only are you going to get lifetime to NVIDIA Elite, but you're also going to get that bonus that is literally valued at $9.97. That's what we sell that all the time. So,
Well, that's terrific. And I think with the education that comes along with that, you're positioning people to be able to scan the markets and take trades on their own.
that's exactly right. And there's new trades all the time, upside and downside.
All right. Lydia was asking the question, do I have to have a $10,000 account to trade spreads?
No, you shouldn't need that. You just need to be approved.
In other words,
I
have
got
approval. Yeah, to do
my
spreads.
brother started trading spreads with about a $500 account. And
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ironies, of course, about the trading different types of ways is that what Graham and I do is usually trying to reduce risk, make smaller trade size, less risk. But a lot of people out there have some bad information. They think it's complex or it takes more money, and you just have to maybe go through some education, hopefully. And I think you'll find that it actually is one of the best ways to reduce risk, not add risk. And so I think if you want to trade NVIDIA, you could buy really expensive call options, or you could buy much less expensive, more risk defined trades like Graham is doing. And like he showed you some of those examples, the risk to rewards are dramatically different as well.
Yeah, and I tried to give you guys a free little taste this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's up 178% now. It just keeps climbing on us.
So yeah, now $1,000 in that one. You guys paid for a year and a half of NVIDIA Elite trades. I mean, come on. Can't do better than that.
Wow. Fantastic. Hey, another question came up here from Charles. He was saying, do you play the downside with puts or do you keep playing the calls?
Uh, Good question. We are playing the puts on the downside,
Okay.
but the elite version of
It's
them.
the elite. Yeah, there you go. The elite version of the puts, not a straight put because those also have crazy high
So
IV.
we are getting
Yeah.
notes here. If they have Fidelity, you have to have a 10K account. I didn't know that. I don't have Fidelity. So Lydia and Alice, if you use Fidelity, that's their rule. That's their rule. Thinkorswim, you don't, which is Charles Schwab. Robinhood, you don't, which is Robinhood.
Some of the
Tom,
other ones,
same thing.
I know
Yeah.
that like the Tradier and some of the other ones, they're like small account designed, definitely don't require a large amount.
Right.
But
Okay. Yeah. Some more people are chiming in. Yeah. That's a fidelity rule. Okay. So others don't
Wow.
adhere to that. Yep.
oh wow,
Okay.
Vonna beat you. She's up
I know.
210%,
Not
or
fair.
he. I'm not sure. Sorry, I made it.
Not fair, Vana.
But
No, that's great. I'm so happy for you.
Not fair.
oh, I was right. My first one. Okay, the A ending in A was in my inclination. 210%. So $1,000 in that one, you're up $2,100 in whatever 8 days or whenever you gave that trade out. Or was that Monday? Did you get out this week?
I think it was this week.
Man, I'm
I think it
losing
was
track of
Tuesday.
time. Oh yeah, you were in
Tuesday.
Hawaii last week, so it had to be this week.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
All right. Well, there you go. $2,100, 210% in 3 days, Raleigh. Not bad.
Not bad whatsoever. I think anybody would take that all day long.
Yep. So hopefully we get a couple of those for you in these weekly trades. Maybe it starts with your first one today. We're going to pick next Friday's expiration. We're going to trade it for about 150 to 200% ROI potential, just to give you guys a little taste of what's going to come.
So, Graham, to that point, if you don't mind just recapping a little bit, typically when do you issue the alerts? What day do those come out?
Friday. Every Friday, I'm going to send you an update, whether it's an entry or exit alert.
Okay.
Always staying in touch with you. And it normally comes around noon, just before noon. Obviously, we're wrapping up here. So it's going to come a little afternoon today. Obviously, guys, if the markets are closed on Friday, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'll reach out Thursday.
What's the typical hold time on these, Graham?
Good question. So the average cycle, so again, when we have these extended cycles, is 23 days. So about 3 weeks. But important here, we are leveraging weekly options to really ramp up those returns during the cycles. So each average hold time for the individual trades will be 1 week. So like we'll
Will be
enter
1 week.
today with next week's expiration. That's a 1 week hold time. But next week I might say, hey, cycle's still good. Let's keep going. Here's the new
Sure.
trade. And then we'll trade that for a couple of weeks until the cycle ends.
So am I typically going to only be in one position at a time, or could I be in
Yep.
two positions?
One at a time, unless we have a special earnings event where I'll give you guys a bonus, in which case you
Okay.
might have two at a time.
Yeah, bonus trades outside. Okay,
Yep.
that's terrific.
Yep.
Fantastic, guys. All right, listen, we have Nate and Graham for just a couple more minutes, folks. They've got to get after it. They've got some trades to issue and some people to take care of, but please ask your questions. I'll stay a little bit longer and answer any questions that I can, do a little summary. But Graham and Nate, they're the gurus. So ask them questions, folks. Otherwise, I'll take over the screen and let those gentlemen go, and we'll get about the rest of our Friday.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I hear crickets.
Yeah, I think we covered most of them, but I guess the last thing is, guys, get in before the next trade. Graham's on an absolute tear lately. Doesn't mean today's trade is gonna be a winner or anything like that. But I think the medium long term view on Nvidia is it's gonna be explosive in one direction or the other. And I think we can
Right.
all feel pretty confident about that. And so, Graham's been killing it. 8 out of 9 cycles have printed some pretty big winners. And now, I mean, you're gonna be able to get in on the best price that we'll ever do on it. So. Hope you guys get in. Hope you take full advantage. And congratulations to Graham on the big 3-0.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Looking forward to, your
Exciting year.
You're 1 foot in the grave in your 30s now. No, I'm just
Wow. Wow.
just kidding. Just kidding.
Life is like a hockey match, man. You're entering the second period here.
There you go.
Yep, that's exactly right. Well, thank you guys all for being here today. Thank you for tuning in. Again, every single day we're live 10 a.m. Opening Playbook, live trading, education, some fun. Today we did have our first mulligan. Someone pointed that out in the chat. That was pretty. I was totally not paying attention.
But
But
it's all in
awesome.
good fun. All right,
Yes.
folks. We'll see you.
All right,
Thank you,
guys,
guys.
take care. Have a fantastic weekend. And as I said, guys, I am going to stay here a little bit longer and answer any last minute questions that you might have. And for those of you that may have come a little bit late to the program, my name is Raleigh White. I'm the senior moderator and trading analyst here at the Trading Pub and the Prosperity Pub. And I do have the great good fortune of being able to work on a regular basis with wonderful people like Nate and Graham as they look to bring us all, edges that they have initially created for themselves and how they like to trade the markets. And now they're sharing that with us. But before I wrap up here, a couple things I want to mention. Number one, this is a live presentation. And if any of you would like to have a copy of this, all you have to do, folks, is three things. Go ahead and give me your name and your email address and say, send me the replay. Put that in the chat panel. I'll get that to our customer care team when we're done here, and they'll send you a link to the replay as soon as it's available. The second thing that I've done is I put together kind of a summary over what was presented today on the NVIDIA Elite program. I've stripped out all the marketing and the testimonials and things of that nature, and I'll also cover the special offer that we have. So please put your questions in the chat panel, and I'll answer those when I'm wrapped up with my summary here. So the focus of today's presentation was NVIDIA Elite, and it's the only place in the world that we know of that pairs high-powered acceleration cycles with elite options to target triple-digit moves on the most explosive stock on the planet. Now, starting today and every week going forward, we're going to send you the current NVIDIA Elite trade. So how does it work? Every week, we'll break down where we are in the acceleration cycle and send you the current NVIDIA Elite trade, as well as the exact options Graham is buying for the Elite trade. Once again, we're talking about trades where Graham is risking his own capital as well. Now, then once you get the information, it's up to you if you decide if you want to take the trade. Then we're going to check back at the end of the week on Friday to let you know if it's time to close the trade or if we're going to extend it for more gains. So what you're going to get every Friday is you're going to get an entry alert for a new trade and exit information on a trade that you would have taken on the prior Friday. Now, everything is going to be sent to you in an easy to follow alert, step by step, right to your email, cell, and even Telegram. So you're going to know when an alert is published. And Graham just said typically these come out around noon Eastern Standard Time every Friday. Now, we're also going to have a live masterclass where Graham will cover every last aspect of the indicators. Plus, he's also going to cover the basics of the elite trade. That way you can apply the special form of options to other strategies that you use as well. Now, several of those are already recorded in your members area, and he holds a new one of these, I think, about once a quarter, and you'll always be invited. And if for one reason you can't make it, once again, they're all recorded. He is also including the NVIDIA Elite Options Crash Course, and this is critical, folks. It's a 16 module series of our with our top option courses, and it teaches you help to go from beginner to pro when it comes to using options. And this is a terrific course, and I'm just delighted that this educational component is part of this program because it'll take you through level 1 options all the way through level 3 options so that you understand, how to apply each one of those strategies and when to go ahead and do it, because you're going to put some of that knowledge to work when you take advantage of these NVIDIA Elite trades. We also include a bonus recording of Graham's wrap order masterclass, a terrific little strategy that he has created, and it's the primary way that he likes to trade options. And there's a bonus, including the options calculators, all there for free. So we put together an awful lot of education and tools for you to have, as you move into this program and use these with other options trading strategies. There are also some bonuses. There's the double dip downturn option. And as Graham said, there are red candlesticks that can keep us out of some terrible downturns, like in the 2022 market. So as he's looking for these profit cycles, in other words, these bullish trends that we're going to take advantage of, it doesn't always go up, up, up. There's sideways movements and there's down movements. These down candles will keep us out of a trade where we're expecting NVIDIA to move higher. But we actually had the team run the same type of options we use on our bullish trades, but instead of calls, we use puts. So in this case, we're taking advantage of an upswing in the Nvidia market, and we can also profit on the downswing. And the results kind of speak for themselves. There was a 300% gain on this move here, and we saw an 889% gain on this move here. So this way, once again, the focus is on Nvidia. And as long as Nvidia is moving, whether it's soaring higher or it's crashing lower, we're going to be taking advantage of it. And so will you as a member of this program. As a second bonus, Nvidia is by far the most exciting state to trade during the earnings season. And he wants you to join you for a live trading every quarter in earnings season. And the earnings rooms have the potential to drive our profits times 4. So 4 times a year, NVIDIA goes through, its earnings process. It's a key area to keep a focus on, and you'll be invited to live trading on that. Now, the price of all this new Elite trading experience is only $1,839 for Elite Access. And that's what the current price is if you go to our website. But we do have a 24-hour birthday special because today, this is Friday, May 5th, 16th, Graham turns 30 years old. So he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to knock $300 right off the price. And then Nate, his buddy, said, hey, I'll even match that and I'll take another $300 off the price. So as a result of that, the current price for Elite Access for 1 year today is $12.39, not $18.39, $12.39, and that is good till midnight tonight wherever you are in the United States. In addition to that, once again, a new trade is going to be released today. So for those of you that are joining today, you'll be able to take advantage of your first trade because it's going to be posted around midday, around noon. Because Graham is just getting off the webinar, it might be closer to 12:30 Eastern time, but you'll get that. And as I said, this special birthday deal expires tonight. Now, when you click on the link, this is what the landing page looks like. And you can see you just basically have one option here. You get 1 year for $12.39. Now, there are, as we mentioned in the program, there are some additional opportunities that you're going to have. And when you sign up for this, okay, don't close the next page, because on that page, you're going to get a unique invite to upgrade your membership to lifetime, which means you'll never pay another renewal fee, despite the fact that we regularly enhance and update the program. We don't charge maintenance fees or software upgrade fees. Plus, when you get to lifetime, you also have a legacy license. And what that means is that if at some point in time down the road you would like to gift your membership to someone, a daughter, a son, a friend, an acquaintance, you can certainly do that. Just call us and say, hey, I'd like to shift my lifetime subscription to a new member, and we'll do that for you free of charge. And in addition to that, we're going to also give you a free copy of the acceleration cycle indicator. That way you can access even more of these reliable setups anywhere, anytime, and it works on any stock that's out there, okay? And it only takes a few minutes to install the code, no confusing downloads or programs needed. And by the way, folks, this along with another indicator that comes with this, it only works on Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim is the only platform at this point in time that's robust enough with its real-time data and its feeds that enables us to go ahead and leverage the technology that we have. So once again, a new trade is being posted today. Call 904-706-3537, and we'll be glad to take care of you. So we did have some frequently asked questions. How much money is needed? Well, the trades average around $100, so it's a small account friendly. And I've even teach you some cool tricks to get your average cost down as low as $50. So from that standpoint, if you're wondering what size account do I need to have? Well, if the average trade's around $100, and let's say you want to trade just 5% of your account on any given trade, a $2,000 account would be great. If you only want to go, 2% or so of your account on any given trade, you can certainly do that under $5,000. So it is small account friendly, and there's no shame or harm in starting small and building up and growing big. As a matter of fact, we recommend that to anybody that's doing this really for the first time. Should I be worried about more downside in the markets this year? Well, the beauty of this system is that the NVIDIA lead trades can happen in both bullish and bearish environments. And that's why we included the double dip downturns for free. So it really doesn't care. We're not looking at the broader market. We're just trading NVIDIA. And if NVIDIA is going to be moving up or down, we've got a strategy and a way to take advantage of that. And we share that with you. Can I trade this in an IRA or a 401 account? Yes, it's retirement account friendly. And if you're just using a normal account, any regular brokerage would do the trick. So from that standpoint, folks, go to prosperitypub.com/elite. And I'm going to go ahead and post here in the chat panel the VIP lifetime pricing so that you have that as well. Once again, I mentioned that this is today only, folks. You know, the birthday special, the 1 year price is $12.39. Normally it's $18.39. That's where it will be tomorrow. The VIP lifetime up sale is $19.95. That will also go up $600 tomorrow, and the lifetime at $32.34 will go up to $38.34 after midnight tonight. There is a 14-day guarantee on this, and that means that you have 14 calendar days from the date of your purchase to go ahead and take full advantage of everything that's here. Should probably get a couple of trades in and look at all the educational material, become part of the community. And if for whatever reason it's just not working for you, call us within those 14 days and we'll be glad to refund every penny of your investment, regardless of whether you go with the 1 year program or the lifetime program. So let's see. Let me go to the chat panel and see if I can answer any questions. I do see that there are a number of you that are asking for a replay. That's great. Okay, so Gary says when the weekly trades go out, do they expire the next week? Yeah, that's my understanding because once again, in talking to Graham about it, he basically is entering weekly options. So a trade that's being placed today in NVIDIA, he's trading next Friday's weekly option. And the trade that would have been placed last week would be expiring today, or he might be doing something else with that. But that's my general understanding. Replay, replay, replay. Yeah, replay. A lot of requests for replay. Edward says, can you get exercised with this spread? Gosh, Edward, great question. I do not know. I do not know that answer. I don't believe so, but my best answer is I don't know. I don't know. If there are other people here in the room that have experience with this program, can you answer Edward's question? Is there a risk of being exercised? Okay, replay, replay, replay. Replay, replay, replay. What does are these straight calls? Let me see here. Replay, replay, replay. Yeah, let me just check something out here. I want to check something. Yeah, these are not. So the question here, are these straight calls or puts descending direction? So once again, you know, what are we doing here? No, these are defined risk trades that are being taken. So you need to be able to trade a bear call spread or a bull put spread. You need to have permission to trade spreads. For most brokerage accounts, that's level 2. Some it's level 3, but you're basically going to be trading a spread. So you know, as Graham had mentioned and Nate had mentioned, they are risk averse and they're always going to look to put something where they're protected on the downside, even though they know that their upside might be slightly limited. But once again, these are in fact bear call spreads and bull put spreads that you're going to be taking. Yeah, and Brent says, thank you for that. Brent says the wrap strategy has a method to eliminate the risk of exercising. That's what I thought, Brent, but since I don't know that for a fact, I thought I would ask. So, you know, this particular strategy and what they're going to recommend that you do is going to limit the risk of you having, you know, you being exercised. So Charles says, do you buy weekly for about 2 weeks, getting out at 1 week, or do you buy weekly for 1 week? Great question, Charles. I do not know the answer to that question. I have an assumption, but I don't know exactly. If anybody here is in the course and could answer Charles' questions, are they buying a weekly? Buy weekly for about 2 weeks and getting out at 1 week. So in other words, are you buying options 2 weeks out, or is everything basically weekly? In other words, today, would we be entering the weekly trades for May 23rd, or is it May 30th? Charles, by the way, to everybody that knows out there, I am a trader, but I'm an active futures day trader. I am not an options trader yet, and I'm in the process of deciding how I want to make that transition. So I would rather not give you my guesses. I'd rather tell you I don't know, and once again, see if we can get some, help for you on that. Okay, Carlos says, what time do the new trades get issued? When I asked Graham that question, he says he likes to get them out around noon Eastern time every Friday. Okay. All right, folks. Well, it looks like things have kind of quieted down here, and I want to thank everybody for coming today. I know that Graham and Nate and I all know that your time is valuable, and we certainly hope that you got benefit from being here with us for the opening playbook and for today's presentation on NVIDIA Elite. And with that, I want to wish you all a terrific rest of your Friday. I hope you all have a wonderful, restful, and fun weekend with friends and family. And I do very much look forward to seeing you at a future event. I'm going to save the chat, folks, here so that I have your email addresses and I can get that to our customer care team, and they'll send you an email when that link is available. And with that, folks, take care, be good, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.